The Renault Symbol, or Thalia in some markets, is a supermini car produced by the French automobile manufacturer Renault. It was introduced in late 1999, under the Clio Symbol name, as the saloon version of the second-generation Renault Clio, and unlike the hatchback it was marketed only in those countries where saloons were traditionally preferred over hatchbacks, while it was not available in Western Europe. The second generation has a different design than the third-generation Clio and is built on the platform of the first-generation car. A third generation has been introduced in late 2012, as a rebadged version of the second-generation Dacia Logan. Its key markets are Central and Eastern Europe, Latin America, the Maghreb and the Gulf states, most notably countries like Turkey, Brazil, Romania, Russia, Algeria, Colombia and Tunisia. Clio Symbol. In late 1999, the Clio Symbol began production in Turkey, as the saloon version of the Clio 2. It was subsequently launched in other countries, under different names, depending on the market: Clio Symbol, Thalia, Clio Sedan, Clio 4 Puitas, Symbol, or Clio Classic. The car was intended for sale in developing countries, where saloons were traditionally preferred over hatchbacks, most notably in Eastern Europe. In some Latin American markets, like Chile and Mexico, the facelifted model was offered as Nissan Platina, with slight changes at the front of the car to make it resemble the Nissan Altima. It is longer by 38 cm than the hatchback and has a larger boot of 510 litres. The main production site of the model has been the Oyak Renault plant in Bursa, Turkey, where manufacturing started in 1999. Worldwide, it was also built since 2000 in Argentina at the plant in Santa Isabel, California, Qdoba, in Brazil at the Ayrton Senna complex in São José, copyright Dos Pinhais, near Curitiba, and since 2001 in Colombia by Safasa. In 2002, it began assembly in Mexico, rebadged as Nissan Platina, at the Nissan Mexicana plant in Aguascalientes. For a short time, between the end of 2002 and 2004, it was also assembled in Russia by Avtofamos. The Platina was dropped following the 2010 model year, and was replaced by the March in its Mexican assembly plant and the lineup. At the beginning it was available with only two engine options in Europe, a 1.4-litre 8-valve and a 1.4-litre 16-valve, both of them with multi-point fuel injection. In Argentina it was manufactured with a 1.6-litre 16-valve petrol engine and a 1.9-litre diesel, in Colombia with the 1.4-litre 8-valve, and in Brazil either with the 1.6-litre 16-valve or with a 1.0 16-valve petrol. Initial trim designations were RN and RT, but later they received names of their own: Authentique, Expression, Dynamique, Eliza copyright, Pravilla GE etc. Facelift. It was facelifted in March 2002, gaining the new front end of the hatchback Clio, black moldings on the bumpers, slightly revised interior and improved safety levels. New engines were also added, a 1.5-litre diesel, and the 1.6-litre 16-valve petrol in Europe, which was only available with the dynamic trim level. Throughout the following years, two other versions of the DCI engine were featured in the range. The 65-horsepower version was upgraded to 70 horsepower and a more powerful version of 80 horsepower and 185 Nm. A new 1.2-litre 16-valve engine was introduced the first half of 2006. An automatic transmission version was available, but only with the 1.4 16-valve petrol engine. The new front end was adopted in South America from 2003. In Brazil, two engines were adapted to run with flexible fuel, the 1.0-litre 16-valve and the 1.6-litre 16-valve. While in Argentina a CNG version was introduced towards the end of the year. The interior of the pre-facelifted model was kept in the South American facelift version. In Colombia, it was added the automatic transmission in 2004 to the Symbol Expression, and the new interior of the facelift model was added in 2008, with some differences from the European version, including the location of the electric window controls, the seats and the radio, and it kept the exterior of the Phase 2 Symbol. The Eliza copyright model included front electric windows and driver airbag. The Expression included electric mirrors, digital clock, passenger airbag, ABS and fog lights. The 2008 model also included a 1.6-litre petrol engine, replacing the 1.4-litre one. The Nissan Platina was available only with the 1.6-litre 16-valve petrol engine. It had 4 trim levels, baptized Grado Q, Grado K, Grado K Plus and Grado A, the same as the top cards in a playing deck. From the 2008 model year, they changed to Custom, Emotion, Premium and Premium A. It was sold either with a manual gearbox or with an automatic one with overdrive system. In the first half of 2005, minor changes were done to the Renault models. These included clear tail lights and side repeaters, a slightly modified grille and some of the display units passing from analog to digital. In the beginning of 2006, an improved version of the sedan was offered in Argentina and Brazil, and from fall in Europe. At the exterior, it now had body-colored bumpers, without moldings and regardless of the trim level. The shape of the grille was revised and the boot got a new handle with the Renault logo integrated, similar to the one used on Laguna, as well as the new styling of the Renault word. 4 new colors were made available and 2 distinctive new rim designs. For the European model and the Platina, the interior was upgraded to the one used in the facelifted Clio 2, with very minor parts commonality with MAR copyright gain 2, as well as new standard and optional equipment, such as automatic air conditioning and a CD player. This model was offered in 3 equipment levels: Authentique, Expression and Dynamique. Expression included driver airbag, air conditioning, trip computer, electric mirrors, electric front windows, CD player and height-adjustable steering wheel. Dynamique added passenger airbag, ABS, rear electric windows, body-colored door handles and alloy rims, although the ABS and passenger airbag were optionals that could be added to the lower levels too. Automatic air conditioning was available as an extra feature. It scored 12 points out of 16 in a frontal crash test conducted by the Russian magazine Auto Review in 2002, which was considered equivalent to the results scored by the hatchback version in the Euro NCAP testing. Over 600,000 units were sold worldwide since the release of this model. Symbol 2. The second generation uses the running gear of the previous generation car and has a different design than the third generation Clio. The name Clio was dropped in favor to just Symbol, or Thalia in those markets where this name was used on the previous generation. It was revealed for the first time in August 2008 at the Moscow International Motor Show and went on sale between September and November. The second generation car is longer than the previous by 7 centimeters and has a boot capacity of 506 liters. The new Symbol was designed jointly by Renault's engineering teams in France, Turkey and Romania, for countries in the Eastern and Central Europe, Russia, Turkey, North Africa and as well the Gulf states. Development of the project took 26 months. The main production site remains the Oyak Renault plant in Bursa, Turkey, and from 2009 it is also manufactured in Santa Isabel, Argentina, for the South American market and only with the 1.6-litre 16-valve engine. In Envigado, Colombia was manufactured from 2009 to 2013 with a 1.6 16V. It is available in 3 equipment levels: Authentique, Expression and Pravilla GE. Features included by Authentique are driver airbag, rev counter or body-colored front and rear bumpers. Expression adds hydraulic power steering, trip computer, electric front windows, height-adjustable steering wheel and front seats, folding rear bench seat, rear headrests and body-colored mirrors and electric central locking with remote control. Pravilla GE adds electric mirrors, leather-trimmed steering wheel, fog lamps, rear electric windows and radio CD player with MP3 playback. In terms of safety, the new Symbol offers driver airbag, passenger airbag, 2 lateral airbags, anti-lock braking system and electronic brake force distribution, anti-intrusion strengthening in front and rear doors, height-adjustable front seat belts, power steering and rear parking sensors. In December 2008, The second generation of the Renault Symbol was awarded the Autobest 2009 prize, by a jury made up of journalists from 15 countries, mainly emerging markets in Eastern and Central Europe. The Turkish police forces use second-generation Renault Symbol cars. Engines equals, according to Renault, the engines used on this model are of the latest generation at the date of release. Symbol 3. The third generation was revealed at the 2012 Istanbul Motor Show, and it is a rebadged version of the second-generation Dacia Logan. It is manufactured in Bursa, Turkey, and went sale on the Turkish market at the beginning of 2013, also being released in Algeria and Tunisia. It is also manufactured and sold in Brazil since November 2013, as the Renault Logan. In markets such as Chile it is marketed as the Renault Symbol. The model produced for South America and Turkey and Algeria retains small design differences, both at the exterior and the interior. The interior differs mainly at the central part of dashboard, whereas the exterior has a different front-end design, incorporating the new large Renault badge, a different headlamp configuration and mirror-mounted indicators. References. External links, official Renault Symbol website, Renault Thalia Symbol downloads.